Most California gardeners make the fatal mistake of leaving their garden empty in December. But the truth is, December could be one of the most productive planting months you have if done right. And these 18 crops actually prefer to go in the ground right now while the soil is cool and the rains are coming. After 3 decades of gardening, I've watched these winter plantings outperform spring gardens year after year. Today we're covering all 18 crops every California gardener should be starting this month for harvests that carry you through winter and well into spring. Stay with me because number 14 is surprisingly easy once you know the trick. And that bonus tip at the end is a cold soil secret that can double your germination rates. Kale is the undisputed champion of December planting in California. This cold-loving brassica doesn't just tolerate cool weather. It actually tastes better after a light frost sweetens the leaves. When you plant kale now, you're giving it exactly what it craves: shorter days, cool soil temperatures, and freedom from the pests that plague summer gardens. For California's zones 7 through 10, 3 varieties stand out. Lacinato, sometimes called dinosaur kale, produces those beautiful dark blue-green crinkled leaves that hold up wonderfully in soups and stir-fries. Winterbore is your go-to if you want a frilly, curly type that keeps producing side leaves all winter long. And Red Russian adds gorgeous purple stems and tender leaves that are perfect eaten raw in salads. Plant your kale seedlings about 18 inches apart in a spot that gets at least 6 hours of sunlight. The beauty of December planting is that kale establishes strong roots through the cool months and rewards you with harvests from late winter straight through spring, often giving you leaves for 4 or 5 months before the summer heat finally slows it down. Swiss chard is the colorful workhorse that belongs in every California winter garden. This leafy green laughs at mild frost and keeps on producing when other crops have long since bolted. What makes chard so valuable for December planting is its remarkable tolerance for temperature swings. Those cool California nights and warm afternoon sunshine, chard handles it beautifully. The Bright Lights variety is a stunner, giving you stems in shades of red, orange, yellow, pink, and white, all from one packet of seeds. Ford Hook Giant is the classic choice if you want massive, thick white stems and dark green leaves that are perfect for sautéing with garlic. Perpetual Spinach is actually a chard variety that produces tender, spinach-like leaves without the bolting problems true spinach can have. Space your chard plants about 12 inches apart in rich, well-draining soil. One of the best things about chard is the cut-and-come-again harvest method. Just snip the outer leaves when they reach 8 to 10 inches tall, and the plant keeps pushing out new growth from the center. A single December planting can feed your family fresh greens for 6 months or longer. Broccoli planted in December gives California gardeners a serious advantage. While gardeners in colder states are stuck waiting until spring, you can get broccoli established now and harvest tight, sweet heads before warm weather arrives. Cool temperatures are essential for broccoli to form proper heads. Planted in summer heat and you get loose, bitter florets that bolt before you can harvest. But December planting means your broccoli matures during the ideal cool conditions it needs. Calabrese is the classic Italian variety that produces a large central head followed by abundant side shoots. Bellstar is a reliable performer bred specifically for organic growing conditions. Green Goliath lives up to its name with extra-large central heads. Set your transplants 18 to 24 inches apart and make sure they get full sun. Broccoli is a heavy feeder, so work in plenty of compost before planting and side dress with nitrogen-rich fertilizer about 3 weeks after transplanting. Expect to harvest your main heads in about 60 to 80 days. Then keep the plants going for another month or 2 of side shoot harvests. Now, if you're finding this video helpful so far, I'd really appreciate it if you'd hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. It helps us reach more gardeners like yourself who would also find it so helpful to avoid these mistakes. All right, let's keep going. Cabbage is a December planting that rewards patient California gardeners with beautiful, dense heads by spring. This cold, hardy brassica actually needs those cool temperatures to develop properly, making your mild winter the perfect growing season. What many gardeners don't realize is that cabbage planted now develops a sweetness you simply cannot get from summer plantings. Savoy cabbage has those gorgeous crinkled leaves and a more delicate flavor that's wonderful in slaws and light stir-fries. January King is aptly named, bred specifically to mature in late winter with stunning purple-tinged outer leaves. Golden Acre is a compact variety perfect for smaller gardens, producing softball-sized heads in about 65 days. Space cabbage plants 12 to 18 inches apart depending on the variety. Consistent moisture is critical, so mulch around your plants to keep the soil evenly damp through dry spells. Watch for cabbage worms, even in winter, and handpick any caterpillars you spot. When the heads feel firm and solid when you press them, they're ready to harvest. Cut the head, but leave the stem and outer leaves in place, and many varieties will produce a bonus crop of smaller heads from the cut stalk. Carrots sown in December take advantage of California's cool, moist soil to develop the sweetest roots you'll ever taste. Cold soil actually triggers carrots to convert their starches into sugars, which is why winter-grown carrots have a flavor that summer plantings simply cannot match. The key to success is proper soil preparation. Carrots need loose, stone-free soil at least 12 inches deep for the roots to grow straight and long. Danvers 126 is a dependable heirloom that handles heavier soils better than most, producing 6 to 8 inch roots with excellent flavor. Nantes types are prized for their crisp, coreless texture and sweet taste, perfect for eating fresh. Bolero is a disease-resistant variety that stores exceptionally well if you want to keep harvesting into late spring. Sow carrot seeds directly in the garden about 1/4 inch deep and keep the soil consistently moist until germination, which can take 2 to 3 weeks in cool weather. Thin the seedlings to 2 inches apart once they're a few inches tall. Patience pays off with carrots. Let them grow through winter, and you'll be pulling roots in early spring that taste like candy straight from the ground. Beets are one of the most rewarding December plantings for California gardens because you get 2 crops in one. The roots are delicious roasted, pickled, or grated raw into salads, and the leafy green tops are every bit as nutritious as chard. Cool weather brings out the best in beets, intensifying their earthy sweetness without the woody texture that can develop in warm soil. Detroit Dark Red is the classic variety, producing deep crimson roots with that traditional beet flavor everyone recognizes. Chioggia, sometimes called the candy cane beet, slices open to reveal stunning red and white rings that brighten any dish. Golden Detroit offers a milder, less earthy taste and the bonus of not staining your cutting board purple. Soak beet seeds overnight before planting to speed up germination. Sow them about 1 inch apart and 1/2 inch deep, then thin to 3 to 4 inches once the seedlings emerge. Each beet seed is actually a cluster of seeds, so you'll likely need to thin multiple seedlings from each spot. Start harvesting baby beet greens in about 30 days and pull the roots at 50 to 60 days when they reach 2 to 3 inches across. Lettuce thrives when planted in December because California's cool temperatures prevent the bolting that ruins spring and summer crops. Nothing beats walking out to your garden and cutting fresh salad greens in the middle of winter, while grocery store lettuce is expensive and lackluster. The secret to success is choosing the right varieties and providing afternoon shade if your winters turn warm. Butter Crunch forms beautiful loose heads with tender buttery leaves that melt in your mouth. Romaine types like Paris Island give you that classic crunch for Caesar salads and sandwiches. Oak leaf varieties are heat tolerant and slow to bolt if you get an unexpected warm spell. Salad Bowl produces masses of frilly leaves perfect for cut-and-come-again harvesting. Sow lettuce seeds shallowly, barely covered with soil, and keep them consistently moist. You can start harvesting outer leaves in as little as 30 days, or wait for full heads in 50 to 60 days. For a continuous supply, sow a new short row every 2 weeks, through winter. The loose leaf types are especially forgiving, letting you harvest individual leaves for months from a single planting. Spinach planted in December gives California gardeners that true, earthy spinach flavor that warm weather crops can never deliver. Spinach bolts almost immediately when days get long and warm, but December planting lets you harvest for months before spring triggers flowering. Bloomsdale Longstanding is the variety name you'll see most often, and for good reason. Those deeply crinkled savoyed leaves have incredible flavor, and the plant resists bolting longer than most. Space spinach is a smooth leaf variety bred for baby leaf production, perfect if you want tender greens for fresh salads. Merlot Nero is an Italian heirloom with dark green leaves that hold their quality exceptionally well. Sow spinach seeds about 1 inch apart and ½ inch deep in soil enriched with plenty of nitrogen. Thin seedlings to 4 to 6 inches apart as they grow. Spinach appreciates consistent moisture and will reward you with faster growth if you mulch to keep roots cool and damp. Begin harvesting outer leaves when they reach 3 to 4 inches long, and the plants will keep producing from the center for weeks. Radishes are the instant gratification crop that every December garden needs. While your other plantings are slowly establishing roots, radishes give you a crunchy, peppery harvest in as little as 25 days. Cherry Belle is the classic red globe radish, ready in about 22 days with crisp white flesh and a mild bite. French breakfast has that elegant, elongated shape with red shoulders fading to white tips, slightly milder than Cherry Belle. White icicle produces 5 to 6 inch long white roots that are surprisingly mild and stay crisp even when they size up. The beauty of radishes in December is that cool weather keeps them from turning hot and pithy. Summer radishes can become unbearably spicy, but winter radishes stay sweet and crunchy. Sow seeds directly in the garden about ½ inch deep and 1 inch apart. Keep the soil moist and you'll see sprouts within a week. Thin to 2 inches apart and start checking for harvest at 20 days. Pull radishes as soon as they size up, because leaving them in the ground too long makes them woody. Plant a new row every week for radishes all winter long. Peas planted in December give California gardeners a head start that pays off with abundant spring harvests. While gardeners in colder climates wait for soil to thaw, you can get pea roots established now and enjoy weeks of picking before summer heat shuts them down. Sugar snap peas are the variety most gardeners reach for, producing those thick, edible pods you can eat whole, raw, right off the vine, or barely cooked in a stir-fry. Little Marvel is a compact bush type perfect for smaller gardens or containers, no trellising required. Oregon Trail is a snow pea variety with flat, tender pods ideal for Asian dishes. Peas fix their own nitrogen, so they don't need heavy feeding, but they do need something to climb unless you choose a bush variety. Install a simple trellis or fence before planting. Soak seeds overnight and sow them about 1 inch deep and 2 inches apart. Cool, moist soil is exactly what peas want for germination. Once the vines start flowering, check daily because pods mature quickly. The more you pick, the more the plants produce. Regular harvesting can extend your pea season by several weeks. Parsnips are the overlooked root crop that California gardeners should plant in December for a sweet surprise next spring. Most people have never tasted a homegrown parsnip, and that's a shame, because the grocery store versions cannot compare to roots pulled fresh from winter soil. What makes parsnips special is that they actually require cold weather to develop their signature sweetness. The starches in the roots convert to sugar during cold soil temperatures, transforming what would be a bland vegetable into something remarkably sweet and nutty. Hollow Crown is the heirloom variety gardeners have grown for generations, producing long, tapered roots with creamy white flesh. Gladiator is a modern hybrid with improved disease resistance and more uniform roots. Parsnips need patience. Seeds can take 3 weeks to germinate, and the roots need 100 to 120 days to mature. Prepare deep, loose soil free of stones, and sow seeds 1/2 inch deep. Keep the bed consistently moist during that long germination period. Many gardeners lay a board or burlap over the row to retain moisture until sprouts appear. The wait is worth it. Roasted parsnips from your December planting will be ready by early spring with a flavor that converts skeptics into fans. Mustard greens thrive in December plantings, giving California gardeners fast-growing, spicy leaves that add punch to winter meals. This hardy brassica handles cold weather beautifully and produces abundantly with minimal care. Southern Giant Curled is the traditional variety, with large frilly leaves and a peppery kick that mellows when cooked. Green Wave takes that flavor up a notch with more intense spiciness and heavily ruffled leaf edges. Red Giant brings stunning burgundy color to your garden and your plate, with a milder flavor than the green varieties. Mustard greens grow quickly, often ready for first harvest in just 30 days. Sow seeds directly in the garden about 1/4 inch deep and thin seedlings to 6 inches apart. These plants appreciate consistent moisture and benefit from a side dressing of nitrogen-rich fertilizer about 3 weeks after planting. Harvest outer leaves as needed, and the plants keep producing from the center. Young leaves are tender enough for fresh salads, while larger leaves are perfect for sautéing with garlic and a splash of vinegar. A December planting provides greens through winter and well into spring before the plants bolt. Collards deserve a place in every California winter garden because no other green produces so reliably for so long. These cold-tolerant plants keep growing through weather that would stop most crops, and a single December planting can yield harvests for 6 months or more. Georgia is the classic southern variety with large paddle-shaped leaves and a mild, slightly sweet flavor. Vates is a compact variety perfect for smaller spaces, with dark blue-green leaves that hold their quality well. Champion is a vigorous grower that produces earlier than most, giving you a faster first harvest. Space collard plants 18 inches apart in rich soil with good drainage. Unlike cabbage and broccoli, collards don't form heads, so you harvest by picking lower leaves and letting the plant continue growing upward. Start harvesting outer leaves when they reach about 10 inches long, leaving the central growing point intact. Collard leaves become sweeter after frost exposure, so don't worry if temperatures dip into the 30s. These plants can handle it. Many California gardeners find collards so productive that a single December planting feeds their family right through the following summer. Cauliflower is the December planting that rewards gardeners who give it a little extra attention. This beautiful brassica needs consistent cool temperatures to form those tight, creamy white heads, making California's mild winter the perfect growing window. Snowball varieties have been the standard for generations, producing reliable whiteheads in about 70 days. All white is an improved version with better self-blanching qualities, meaning the wrapper leaves naturally curl over the developing head. Amazing is a modern hybrid bred for uniformity and vigor, with excellent tolerance for temperature fluctuations. The trick with cauliflower is protecting the developing head from sunlight, which turns it yellow and can give it an off flavor. When you see a small head forming in the center of the plant, gather the outer leaves and tie them loosely over the top with garden twine. This blanching process keeps the curd white and tender. Space plants 18 to 24 inches apart and keep them consistently watered. Cauliflower is fussier than its brassica cousins, but a perfectly blanched head from your winter garden is worth the extra effort. Celeriac is the underappreciated root vegetable that California gardeners can start in December for a unique harvest come spring. Most people have never grown this knobby cousin of celery, but those who try it rarely go back to buying it at specialty grocery stores. Celeriac develops a softball-sized root with intense celery flavor, perfect for soups, purees, and the classic French remoulade salad. Riccio di Verona is a reliable variety that produces smooth, well-shaped roots with fewer side rootlets to trim away. If you prefer traditional celery, Pascal is the variety to choose, producing thick, crisp stalks with excellent flavor. Both crops need rich soil with consistent moisture and appreciate a heavy layer of compost worked in before planting. Start with transplants rather than seeds for December planting, as both celeriac and celery are slow to germinate. Space plants about 8 inches apart and keep them well watered throughout the growing season. These are long-season crops, needing 100 to 120 days to mature. But the mild California winter gives you that growing time without the heat stress that ruins celery in other regions. Harvest celeriac when the root reaches 3 to 4 inches across, and cut celery stalks from the outside of the plant as needed. Fava beans are the winter legume that every California gardener should plant in December before the coldest weather arrives. Unlike common green beans that need warm soil, favas actually prefer cool temperatures and establish strong roots through winter for heavy spring harvests. Aqua Dulce is the classic variety developed specifically for fall and winter sowing, with extra cold tolerance and large, flavorful beans. Big D produces even larger beans on vigorous plants that can reach 4 to 5 feet tall. Fava beans are nitrogen fixers, pulling nitrogen from the air and storing it in nodules on their roots, which improves your soil for future plantings. Sow the large seeds directly in the garden about 2 inches deep and 6 inches apart. No soaking needed, though it speeds germination by a day or two. These plants grow tall, so install stakes or a support system before they get unwieldy. Harvest the pods when you can feel the beans inside have sized up, but before the pods turn brown and leathery. Young pods can be eaten whole, while mature beans need to be shelled and often skinned for the creamiest texture. Don't pull the plants when you're done harvesting. Cut them at soil level and let those nitrogen-rich roots decompose in place. Parsley planted in December establishes a robust root system that carries the plant through winter for abundant spring harvests. This biennial herb is far more cold tolerant than most gardeners realize, and December planting gives you fresh parsley exactly when you need it for spring cooking. Italian flatleaf is the variety professional chefs prefer, with larger, more flavorful leaves than curly types. Hamburg parsley is actually grown for its root as well as its leaves, producing a parsnip-like root with concentrated parsley flavor. Start with transplants for fastest results, or sow seeds directly, but be patient. Parsley seeds can take 3 weeks or more to germinate, and many gardeners give up too soon. Soaking seeds overnight helps speed things along. Space plants 6 to 8 inches apart in rich soil with good drainage. Parsley handles partial shade well, making it a good choice for spots that don't get full sun. Harvest by cutting entire stems from the outside of the plant, rather than picking individual leaves. The plant responds by pushing out new growth from the center. A December planting provides fresh parsley through winter and spring, only bolting once summer's long days and heat finally trigger flowering. Cold tolerant. Herbs like thyme and sage round out the December planting list for California gardeners who want to maximize their winter gardens. While vegetables often steal the spotlight, these Mediterranean herbs are perfectly suited to California's mild winters and benefit from getting established before the spring growing rush. English thyme is the classic culinary variety, forming a low, spreading mound of tiny aromatic leaves that dry beautifully for year-round use. Common sage produces those soft, silvery green leaves essential for poultry seasoning, stuffing, and Italian dishes. Both herbs need excellent drainage, so amend heavy clay soil with plenty of sand or plant in raised beds. Full sun is essential for the best flavor and strongest growth. Space thyme plants about 12 inches apart and sage plants 18 to 24 inches apart, as both will spread significantly. Once established, these herbs are remarkably drought tolerant, but consistent moisture helps young plants develop strong root systems. Harvest by snipping stems rather than pulling leaves, and avoid cutting more than 1/3 of the plant at a time. These perennials give you harvest for years to come, and that December planting gives them the longest possible growing season before summer heat slows their growth. And now for the bonus tip that California winter gardeners swear by. If you're struggling with slow germination in cool December soil, try this simple technique called pre-warming. Before you sow seeds, lay a sheet of clear plastic over your prepared bed for about a week. The plastic traps solar heat and can raise soil temperature by 10 degrees or more, even in winter. This makes a dramatic difference for crops like carrots, parsley, and beets that germinate slowly in cold soil. Once your seeds are sown, replace the clear plastic with floating row cover, which lets rain through while still providing a few degrees of frost protection and warming. The combination of pre-warmed soil and row cover protection can cut germination time nearly in half and give your seedlings a strong start. I've seen germination rates double using this method compared to sowing in cold, uncovered soil. It costs almost nothing, takes just minutes to set up, and makes the difference between a good winter garden and a great one. Thanks for sticking with me through the entire video. If you found this helpful, give it a like, subscribe for more gardening tips, and check out our other videos on growing a better garden.